Welcome to That's the Word, wholesome tales for the whole family. I'm Father James Yamauchi. Today's story, The Plant Shop Rendezvous. Josepha woke before dawn. She got on her knees and began to pray, begging the Lord for courage. Before long, Josepha was out on the road, riding her bicycle to the plant shop. The young woman was a regular at the shop, one of the many people picking up flowers, plants, and seeds. She struck up a friendship with one of the young men working at the shop. Over the course of many months, she regularly traveled 21 miles one way by bicycle to assist the young man and his associates. The word soon got around of Josepha's extracurricular activities. She was able to conceal them from her parents. Josepha knew that she was playing with fire. The roads were dangerous for anyone, particularly a young woman like herself. As she pedaled along the road in the cold December air, she calmed her nerves by thinking of her dear friend and his associates at the plant shop. Josepha was determined that no roadblocks would hinder her from completing her errand. She touched the outside of her pocket and confirmed the vial and book were still there. These items were scarce in supply. The young man in the plant shop urgently needed them. Josepha finally arrived at the plant shop. There were customers hustling and bustling about. Josepha loitered around the store, looking at the variety of products. Josepha made a point to never draw attention to herself. She was patient, fighting back the urge to rush the exchange. Josepha had made it this far, and she silently prayed that there would be no last-minute misstep. She nonchalantly made her way to the young man and inconspicuously handed over the items. Josepha soon found herself back on the road returning home, still apprehensive, but relieved that she had successfully completed her errand. The young man in the plant shop delivered the materials to one of his associates, Bishop Gabriel Biguier. The young man was a Catholic priest, and both he and the bishop were prisoners. The plant shop was a part of the prison, where the inmates would sell the plants they grew to the general public. When the bishop had arrived at the prison, priests informed him that one of the inmates was a seminarian who was terminally ill. They petitioned the bishop to ordain him a priest. The bishop agreed on the condition that the seminarian's bishop and the local bishop provide him the necessary permissions, and he needed the holy oils, a stole, and the ritual book. All of these things had to be smuggled into the prison. This formidable task was entrusted to 20-year-old Josepha Mach, a candidate for religious life. Thanks to her heroic efforts, the ordination proceeded with the help of several hundred priests, Protestant pastors, and even a Jewish violinist who provided cover for the liturgy. The ordination within the German concentration camp of Dachau during World War II of a saintly young priest known for his patience and even temper as a prisoner, who died from his terminal illness of tuberculosis 3 months after the camp was liberated by the Allies. Blessed Karl Leisner. And for this week, that's the word.
This story was suggested by Father James. Thank you, Father James, for this great story.
And in case you are thinking John Peter is giving me accolades, he is not.
Never.
It is a different Father James. And I'm very appreciative of this story indeed. It's a story that John Peter and I are very familiar with, but I will say it was hard for me to imagine how we would tell the story, because initially the story in my mind was, let's describe this ordination that's taking place in a prison, and how do you really do that with the format of That's the Word? And so doing some research, we came across the story of this young woman. With our German heritage, we know that it would be Josepha.
Father James got very disturbed about this, but halfway through recording.
For whatever reason, halfway through recording, actually 2/3 in the way of recording, when we're looking at her full name, Josepha Mach, we were like, how do you pronounce her last name? Is it Mack? Is it Mach? And then we're like, well, it's German. And then all of a sudden it dawned on us, her name is Josepha and not Josepha. But we decided to go along with it because
we were lazy and we weren't going to record the rest of it. And more importantly, it was to disguise her a bit more than just calling her Josepha. That kind of would draw attention to her place of origin.
Full disclosure. We're always about full disclosure here. Talking about full disclosure, though, it's incredible to consider the system by which somebody is ordained a priest.
Right. You would think that when you're in dire circumstances like this, anything would go. But they really, really made sure to do it right. They wanted permission from the local bishop. They wanted permission from the seminarian's bishop. And they wanted to make sure they had all the holy oils, they had the stole, they had everything that was required for the ordination to be proper. And even afterwards, they smuggled out the documentation. So Josepha had to come back and pick up the documents that said, oh yeah, this guy was ordained a priest, so they could be put into the diocesan archives.
A lot of Catholics may not realize this. I deal with this all the time, especially when working with couples preparing for marriage, is that all of your sacramental records, where you receive First Communion and when and where you receive the other sacraments like confirmation, marriage, or ordination, those all get sent to your place of baptism, the parish that has your baptismal record and is included there. It's quite a beautiful system to be able to go to one place and be able to receive all the information of when you receive the sacraments of the church. Now it's trivia time.
Da-da-da.
Last stories. Trivia question was,
what television personality went on a retreat under the direction of Father Lesueur?
The answer is
Archbishop Fulton J. Sheen. Check out the story extras for that story. 3 little notebooks to hear Archbishop Sheen tell the story.
This story's trivia question is:
in what diocese was Dachau located? That question again. In what diocese was Dachau located?
If you think you know the answer, email us or contact us on social media and let us know.
If you enjoy That's the Word, please share the word. You can see the story extras for this story, The Plant Shop Rendezvous, at thunderrock.org, where you can see pictures of Father Leisner and of Josefa Mock, who became Sister Mary Emma. Thunderrock.org is also where you can sign up for our weekly newsletter and where you can find our social links and our email if you have any feedback or story ideas like the other Father James did.
Thanks for listening, and join us next Wednesday for another wholesome tale for the whole family.